Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Little Modern Mama. My name is Ashley, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. Today we are going to be talking about first trimester must-haves. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button and follow us on our journey, and hit the alerts button so you know when the next videos are released. Definitely give us a thumbs up so we know what kind of content you guys are enjoying, and we'd love to make more of that. So today we are actually going to cover a lot of ground and I did things a little bit differently. Today I asked for my friends, family, and followers to give me some of their suggestions on what they loved for their first trimester and could not live without, and a few things that maybe people regretted purchasing. Your first trimester really isn't about baby. There are some awesome things that happen with baby, but it's really about you and creating a level of comfort for yourself, because there is a lot going on, mamas. There's so much. So today we are going to be talking about things that pertain to morning sickness, comfort clothes, books, skin and how to keep your skin nice and healthy, and pillows, and then also some random other things that a few of my friends had thrown in that I thought were just absolutely fantastic. So let's get started. Let's talk first about different books that you should get. You got a positive pregnancy test, and that's amazing. Like, what's the first step you want to take? Grab some reading material and get educated on what is going to happen in that first trimester. Some of my favorites include What to Expect When You're Expecting. This is a fantastic guide to what pregnancy is going to be about and how it's going to go for you, and it's wonderful. There's also some things in here for spouses, significant others, and dads. So just definitely take a look at this. There's also an app that coincides with it that tells you how big your baby is every single week, and I love that. So this was definitely a must-have during this second pregnancy. I'm rereading this book, and it's amazing. The next one is a book that was recommended by a friend of mine, April, and so I went out and got it as soon as she had recommended it. So I'm really excited to share this one with you. I've read the first few chapters, and it's super funny. So if you're in the mood for a good laugh, then get Belly Laughs by Jenny McCarthy. So hilarious and so very, very true, and I just love it. So hopefully I can get to the end of it in the next couple of days. I'm sure there's other books out there. If you guys have any recommendations on books that are super good for the beginning stages of pregnancy, leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear your suggestions. Moving on to some of the other things here. Morning sickness. Oh my gosh, morning sickness. With my first pregnancy, I had like zero morning sickness, and they always say if it's a girl, you'll have more. If it's a boy, you'll have less. Well, my first baby is a girl, Reagan, and she's amazing, and there was like hardly any morning sickness, just some nausea and food aversions like Chick-fil-A. I couldn't eat Chick-fil-A. Weird, super weird. And I had a great appetite through my entire pregnancy with her. So a little different than this time around. This time around I was so nauseous and so vomity, and I had to take time off work. It was just awful, and there were so many other things that went into it. So whew, morning sickness. Be prepared. You never know what it's going to be like, and every pregnancy is different. So let's see some of the things to cover in morning sickness. If you're nauseous and you are just puking everywhere and can't keep anything down, I would suggest shakes, protein shakes in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever it just suits you to do so, because it's really hard to keep stuff down. Two of my favorite shakes that I found were Baby Booster, and I got the French vanilla flavor. It was fantastic. Then also Pink Stork makes another pregnancy related protein shake. Both of them are fantastic, and I will link them below. Next, Preggy Pops. So Preggy Pops are like a tiny piece of candy that you can stick in your mouth and just suck on. You can also get a sucker version. There's also Preggy Pops Plus, which have vitamin B6 in them, and B6 is super good for helping prevent nausea. Personally, the Preggy Pops didn't work for me. They're sour, they're candy, which is great. I actually preferred Jolly Ranchers during my first pregnancy, and those were phenomenal and cheaper. And then during my second pregnancy, I really haven't been able to do sugar of any kind, so anything too sweet, and I was just like, bleh. So see if that works for you. If it does, awesome. But I had like 5 friends actually talk about Preggy Pops. Definitely look into it if this is your first trimester and you're going through that little bit of nausea. buy a box or buy some Jolly Ranchers. Sour is better than anything. So, Pedialyte Pops. So, Pedialyte Pops are like a frozen popsicle that you can take, and it's got Pedialyte in it, so it's good for hydration and keeping you nice and healthy during your pregnancy. I had them because I was throwing up so much that I just needed something to get the electrolytes back, and that was fantastic. My daughter also loved to enjoy them with me at the same time. They come in great flavors, grape, blue raspberry, watermelon, so on and so forth. Let's see, crackers. I kind of forgot these on my list, but I never really had a craving for crackers during my first trimester pregnancies. And so a friend of mine, Shay, had actually mentioned crackers and snacks and mints. And all three of those are phenomenal. I would highly suggest all three. Any brand of cracker you want, whether it's saltines or the club crackers that are kind of buttery. And I would suggest having them by your bedside table so you can have a little snack in the middle of the night or when you wake up in the morning. Let's see, C-bands. My friend Liz had mentioned C-bands. Those are great as an anti-nausea. Usually you'd find them in like the aisle for like Dramamine and things like that to help with like seasickness, but those are amazing, and I didn't use them personally, but it's definitely a good purchase to try out. Ziploc bags. This comes from Lisa, and it was also mentioned by Shay. Wow. I never thought about this during either of my pregnancies, but having a Ziploc bag that you can throw in your purse in case you're like at the grocery store or at a restaurant or something and you can't get to the bathroom fast enough, just pull out your bag and bleh, if you need to. It should be something that, you know, is easy to carry and closes tightly. A good seal is the best because you don't want that leaking out all over your purse or in the shopping cart or in the car. Sparkling water is one that I could not live without, and it was just really good. I like to have something cold right when I wake up in the morning, so a cold sparkling water is absolutely perfect. There's so many brands out there right now. You know, the Target brand Good and Gather is actually a really great one. It has tons of really awesome flavors and it's a good price. The last thing on my list is Diclegis. And Diclegis was actually a prescription that I got from my doctor, which is a combination of vitamin B6 and Unisom. I could not figure out the right dosage for B6 and Unisom on my own, so the Diclegis was actually a really, really helpful solution. And if you go into the emergency room in Southern California, they'll give you Zofran for an immediate relief, which is amazing, but not recommended for long-term use currently. But all of those things are fantastic morning sickness remedies. So if you are looking for something to help curb that a little bit and get rid of the morning sickness, I would highly suggest each of those things. Next on our list here, comfort clothes. Yes, it is time, now that you've found out you're pregnant, to find some comfortable clothes to wear. You know, I didn't start getting actual maternity clothes until kind of my second trimester, but with this second baby, I actually got into them really early because I started showing earlier. But I would suggest looking into leggings. I like the brand Blanqui, and there's a link below for those. I would suggest getting some maternity pants. I love going to Ross for maternity pants because they're cheap. And I know a lot of places they're like $50-$60 for a pair of maternity pants, and Ross you can get them for like $16. So that's pretty helpful, especially if you're trying to budget. Tops, Ross is still good for tops, and so is Walmart if you just want plain solid tops and with nothing like on them, but you can always get stuff on Amazon too. They have a wonderful selection. Bras, my friend Matilda commented on this, and getting new bras right away is pretty good because your boobs are going to grow and they're going to be sore, and you're going to want to be in something super comfortable. So you might have to buy new bras at several times during your pregnancy, right at the beginning, somewhere near the third trimester, and then at the end of pregnancy because you're going to be huge. Or huge for your body. Let's see. Matilda also mentioned getting new undies, and I still haven't figured out what brand of undies I really enjoy for pregnancy. I just tried out a whole bunch of new ones, and so did she. And I think this is a great thing to do because your body is growing in different ways. Your underwear are not going to sit the same way. You might not feel comfortable in certain things. You might need to wear panty liners, and those don't work well in a G-string. Just saying, it's not comfortable to wear a panty liner in a G-string. So try out some new things and see what fits for you and what fits your body. Spanx. So I wear a lot of maternity dresses, and normal Spanx are just too constricting around your belly. You don't want anything that puts too much pressure on your belly. You're not really trying to conform your belly, but you might be wanting to get rid of some of your side jiggle. And I found that Spanx, you can get some on Amazon. Control undergarments really is what they are, but if they're made specifically for maternity, they're going to give you extra support to help hold your belly up, and that is super, super important, especially if you're trying to get any sort of pressure off your cervix or just release some of that pressure in general. Those are a fantastic way to do so, and they're very slimming and trimming. Also, like I talked about, I wear a lot of pregnancy dresses, and one of my favorite brands to wear is called Bump Show. I put the link in the comments below, and they have such a wide variety of dresses. You can also get dresses at like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Ross, and just get some of the ones that are tight fitting so that they show off your bump appropriately. And I think that makes you look just absolutely wonderful as a pregnant lady. The last thing on my list was PJ pants. So I love wearing leggings to bed. Like, that's always been my go-to. But after you start to get a little bit bigger, during that first trimester, it's a lot of just bloating. And you just feel uncomfortable in your normal clothes. So maybe look into some maternity pajama pants, whatever makes you feel comfortable. There's a few of my favorites that I'm going to put pictures of here, and then also in the link below, it'll show you where to get them on Amazon. So those are super big things. The next thing you want to think about is, how are you going to protect your skin? So your skin is super vulnerable during this time. You're prone to stretch marks and all sorts of other things. So you definitely want to take care of your skin. One thing that I found super helpful this pregnancy is Aquaphor. I get the big tub. I use that on my belly to help prevent against stretch marks and keep me hydrated. And then also the Palmer's Cocoa Butter that's made for pregnancy and stretch marks. That one's great too, and it has a wonderful smell. They've also got an oil to go along with it, and those are awesome. My friend Matilda commented on bio oil. That's one of her favorites, and I think that one's a great one to try as well. Or if there's any other recommendations you guys have, toss them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Next is pillows, pregnancy pillow. Oh my goodness, if I could have it the day that I find out I'm pregnant, oh wow. So comfortable. I would probably just use it continuously. But definitely look into pregnancy pillows. The other thing to look at is a pregnancy wedge. I like the one from Boppy, and it's just a tiny wedge that you can stick under the side of your belly. If this is your second, third, fourth pregnancy, you don't have quite as much abdominal muscles as you did before, so you're going to want to have something to help keep that belly supported while you're sleeping, and I love that. It's so wonderful, and it helps you sleep so much better. Other things that people mentioned, a friend of mine, Michael, was very offended that I did not ask the gentlemen in my friends and family and followers to comment, because guys actually do know a lot about what their spouses, their wives go through during pregnancy, and they've got some great ideas, and I agree. Michael was spot on. One of the things that he mentioned was the Lanilish, I can't pronounce that correctly, these things, breast therapy pads, and they are fantastic. I did not use them during my pregnancies, but I was crazy about them after I gave birth. So the fact that his wife was able to use them during her pregnancy and saw really great results with that, your boobs get so sore, and it's so nice to have just something there to help make them feel better. And these you can stick in the freezer, or you can microwave them, and they get nice and toasty warm, and it just feels amazing. So definitely use those. Have a water bottle on hand at all times, because you want to be hydrated. I know during the second pregnancy, since I couldn't hold food down and I couldn't even hold water down for a long time, I would get these little dizzy spells, but it was because I was dehydrated, and you need to have that hydration as much as possible. I like the water bottles that have the little numbers on the side so you know how much you've drank throughout the day. My goal is to drink 1 gallon of water a day and keep myself as hydrated as possible. Next, panty liners. I know I kind of talked about this earlier when we talked about underwear, but panty liners are super important too, because you never know how much fluid might come out during your first trimester of pregnancy. You could be dry as a bone down there, or you could be constantly wet, or you could just be extra sweaty down there. And a panty liner is great so you don't have little wet spots in your underwear, and you can just take those out and go. Or if you have any pelvic issues, pelvic floor issues, like I did this time around, you might want to try some sort of, depends. I like the Always Discreet Boutique collection, which is basically an incontinence underwear. And if you were like me with a pelvic floor issue, and every time you threw up you tinkled just a little, or a lot, or a whole lot, then you might want to consider those as something that you keep on hand for yourself. So whether this is your very first pregnancy, second, third, and you're just looking for new things to look into, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope that this was something that you got something out of. If you have comments or questions or other things you think women might really need during their first trimester of pregnancy, I hope you would put those in the comments below. I would love to hear that. I know our followers would love to hear that as well. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Hope you're doing fantastic, and let's keep parenting together.